Words, such an integral part of language. But what happens when we take simple words with simple definitions and ask people what they mean? These are questions for humanity. What is gifted?
Gifted. Oh, that to me can be so many different things. It can be a talent, it can be smarts, a certain sort of something that somebody brings to the table, I guess, that is unique and different and in their own special way.
It's somebody who processes information, regardless of their speed, at such a level that they consume so much knowledge, or they consume so much of one particular thing that they have like a huge bowl to be able to take it in, where most people only have a tiny little bowl. And so you have to pour faster, pour quicker, pour more. And society doesn't always recognize that to satisfy that bowl, they have to continuously pour and add more, just so that that gifted person has the exact same quality of life as the majority of the people. And it doesn't have to be just like book learning. It can be music, it could be martial arts, it could be, hands-on. It just happens that it's easier to quantify something that's related to learning from a book or a classroom standing.
Gifted is when someone is uniquely brilliant.
Much like intelligence, I think that someone can be gifted. Literally, I believe this. Someone can be gifted emotionally, creatively, intellectually, with numbers, with words, with still images, with moving images, with the things they can build with their hands. Gifted can mean so many different things. There are people, I guess, I don't believe in God per se, but I believe that life does try to find a balance, because life, after all, going back to that idea of the world spinning, we are perfectly balanced. Science perfectly balances everything. And I think with human beings, that balance is sometimes that when someone is incredibly gifted, there is this trade-off. There is something that they suffer with in their life that just feeds their giftedness. That clarity in one or multiple areas that make them a tapestry for the world around them. They bring beauty into the world in a way that someone who isn't gifted in that area simply cannot do, because they don't have that trade-off. So when I hear that someone is gifted, the first thing I actually think of is, how do they suffer? And is there something I can do to help? Because I want to support that giftedness.
To me, gifted is having a natural knack for something, whether it's something creative or something that you do with your hands, or something academic, but it's kind of having a natural knack for it, and being able to quickly go, oh, I get that. Okay, cool, let's move on.
Gifted just means that if you are to somehow quantify the expanse of human ability in some subdivision of skill or talent, skill is probably the better word to say, those who fall to the higher end of the distribution are gifted, possibly, or they could be very hardworking. So it's hard to tell when you're gifted, or when someone else is gifted, whether they are just extremely well skilled in that or have an innate talent in something. Because talent is not skill. You can be born with an innate talent in something, an affinity towards something, but if you don't refine that skill in something, you might seem gifted to another novice in the field, but you're not really that good at it. So gifted can be subjectively poorly evaluated by many people. So people use the word to describe intelligence, that other people are gifted, but it can be easily misconstrued, and it's somewhat of a not productive term, because you should never think of yourself that way, because it leads to false assumptions and false generalizations about how you can apply yourself in life. The best thing to do with gifted is to think about how gritty you are instead. When you, how much tact or grit do you have to solve a problem? That is way more important than giftedness. Because even a person who may be considered not gifted, but if they're more gritty, they're willing to get up, try again when they fail, they're going to out-succeed you. So being gifted doesn't matter as much. It's just a standard thing about life, really. So I think gifted it's a term to describe something, but it's not like this awesome term that a lot of people think it is.
Gifted is realizing and using your fullest potential. My father used to tell me the worst thing in the world is wasted talent. And there's so many gifted people, but those who know how to use it, that's truly, to me, being gifted.
Gifted is something that comes naturally to some people in different areas. It's just a natural gift, without using the term. It's just a natural receipt of something that is a quality that may set you apart from others in the same spectrum of that thing.
Gifted. I think the usual way that word is used is that if somebody has a particular talent or skill that's above and beyond what most people have. So when you say somebody's a gifted musician, a gifted piano player, that's saying that you think they seem remarkably talented and good at playing the piano more than you would see in other people. So I think that's the easiest way to mention the word gifted.
It means that you're able to do things in a way that no one else can.
Gifted is, it could be a lot of things. Gifted can mean that you acquire a certain talent or a gift, as you would say, where you kind of, you stand out more than the rest, or you could actually be part of a group that is also just as gifted as you are, and that could mean like you're intelligent in terms of like book smart, or it could mean you're very talented in terms of in an artistic sense, or it could even mean you're just good at a really good job that you do, and it's just something that it's like an attribute that stands out of a person when you were to see, when you were to describe them as what they would be good at. I would say
gifted. I'll say everyone is gifted, every single one, in different ways though. You're gifted because you're here, you're alive, you're walking among this earth. You're gifted. So don't take it for granted. Take responsibility for that, and it's our responsibility to find our gift. give it out. You can't keep it. You have to give it out. But you have to find it first. And it's your responsibility to find it.
The ability to excel at something that that normally is difficult to do, I guess. Some people just have a better ability at doing things like singing or dancing or drawing or technical work or whatever, and being gifted just means that you can do it a little bit better than most people can, or you have a natural ability.
I don't know, I think of like sort of like a talent, or like you're exceptionally just good at something. You're just like made to do it.
Gifted means you just probably have something nobody else can do, and something that makes you more special than you believe you are, and yeah, and I believe everybody's gifted, so everybody's special.
Talented, in some way, shape, or form. That doesn't necessarily mean in any tangible sense. You could be gifted in the way you talk to people, in the way that you know how others feel, or you could be gifted in something creative, or again, it falls along the lines of smarts, whether you have a talent or a gift for painting or numbers or whatever. It doesn't necessarily mean the same thing that the schools usually push down kids' throats.
Having an ability, whether it be physical or mental, that other people don't generally have.
Gifted can go a lot of different ways. I think a lot of people tend to think gifted is a person could be highly intelligent or gifted as far as science and education might go, but being gifted comes in other ways. It's kind of like even people that some people say, oh, that person's got a disability. I'd say, no, they have an ability. It's just a different ability than what we have, and so they're gifted.
Gifted usually means I'm a Christian, so personally for me that means, maybe God has given you something very specific. Maybe you're a great singer or whatever, but God has given you this gift and he wants you to use it to show people him. Like show him through you, I think a gifted person I think there's multiple different types of gifted. You can be gifted with whatever your gift is. And I think of gifted as a very, for me, it reminds me of my Christianity and my relationship with God, because, I think God gives us gifts that we can use to progress him in the world and, share that love and that joy.
Gifted means you don't have to work that hard to be able to do something, but you should still work hard.
Gifted would be a skill set that comes across to someone who doesn't need to work at it as hard as the average. Someone who is more natural at it, or it comes easy to them. Something that they don't have to work at it as hard or have to put in as many hours into accomplishing something that someone else has to really work at it. Somebody else has to really strive and put in all the hours, blood, sweat, and tears into doing the same thing.
I do think that gifted is like having a specialty to know something that other people might not get as easily. And so it doesn't mean that they won't get it, but you might be gifted if you get something quicker than other people.
It's hard to think of that in terms of in terms of intangible things. I think you're gifted if you believe in an omnipotent being and you believe that you were gifted with something. a certain quality or nature about yourself. I don't believe in gifted as something having to do with your belief system or an omnipotent being. But I definitely believe in it in terms of like, hey, you got me a present, awesome. I think everyone has a gift. They have something inside that they should share. They should share with the world.
Well, there's many definitions for the gifted word, I'm sure, in any dictionary you care to look upon. But a gifted person to me is somebody who has something inside of them that is so special, whether they know it or not, that it deserves to be shared with the rest of the world, whether it's math, healing, humor, or general good looks. It has to be shared with the world. Whatever it is that's inside of them, a song, a story. Being gifted means that you have an obligation to the rest of humanity to share it.
Gifted is a curse and a blessing. When you can do more, be more, but you are expected to do more, and be more.
I feel like gifted is going above and beyond and not feeling like it's stressful. Being able to do something that is not ordinary to anybody else. Going the extra step and it not being a task or a job.
That is a very universal term. Gifted can mean many things. If what somebody lacks in one thing, they could have immense strength in another. It really depends on the person.
Gifted means that you or someone else excels in a certain field. Like someone is like really good at writing right from the get-go. Like maybe they struggle a little when they first start, but then they like get right into it. They can get right into that headspace. Same with artists and such. Like maybe they'll struggle a little, but like they catch on like that. I think, and if someone excels in multiple areas, then I'd say it's about the same thing. But to me, excelling in like just one area is enough to be considered gifted.
I think everybody's gifted. Everybody has gifts, God-given, if you will. But for some people, it just means you're on a higher plane, or you can do things better and easier. But I don't think that's always what it means. I think gifted is using what you have, what you've been given naturally to the best of your ability.
A talent that you're born with. And everyone, I think, has a gift, a talent they were born with. Some people, it takes them a long time to find it. Some people never do. But I believe it's there. I think you are born with it when you are gifted.